Welcome to The Explainer. So today we are digging into a real mystery. It's a story about, well, digital ghosts and memories that are so completely wiped they just shouldn't exist anymore. And it all leads to this incredible secret buried in the absolute deepest parts of our connected world.
All right, so the story kicks off with this amazing line: Kira Okonkwo worked with ghosts. But, we're not talking about your typical spooky ghosts. Nope. These are, well, they're the digital leftovers of people who decided to completely erase themselves. In Kira's job, she finds them. She's what's known as a memory archaeologist.
And Kira, she isn't just any archaeologist. Her specialty is something called deep recall. What does that mean? Well, it means she can recover identities that have been so completely erased from the deepest, darkest corners of the network that they're not just gone. They technically shouldn't even be possible to find at all. So think about the world this creates. It's a world where you can literally choose to delete yourself. Just poof, vanish. It kind of makes you wonder, right? Is your identity just data that can be scrubbed clean? Kira operates in a place they call the deep architecture. The best way to think about it is like digital sediment or a fossil record of our entire network. It's where the absolute fiendest digital footprints might still exist. And her job is to find what everyone else says is impossible. And that brings us to her newest case. And man, it is a tough one. She's looking for a woman named Victoria Chen. Now, Victoria was a corporate whistleblower, and she used a custom military-grade protocol to disappear. We're not talking about deleting a Facebook profile here. She scrubbed her entire existence from the digital record. So the big question is, how do you find someone who literally doesn't exist anymore? Well, to find Victoria, Kira has to go deep. I mean, way down into the network's oldest, most corrupted layers. This is not a place you can just Google, Down there, data doesn't act like data. It's more like memory. It's emotional, it's associative. You can't search it with a keyword. You have to feel your way through it. And her process for doing this is wow. It's not just about fancy tech. It's this incredible blend of a custom neural interface plugged right into her brain, combined with this deep meditative practice she calls listening mode. And when she's in that state, her own mind, her own consciousness becomes the tool she uses to navigate through all those layers of digital history. So as she goes deeper, she moves right past the surface web, the bright, fast part of the network we all use every day. Then she sinks below the next layer, the intermediary strata, where you find all the old government databases. And finally, she reaches it, the deep architecture, that digital fossil record of our world, a place filled with ancient, totally forgotten protocols. Okay, so down there, in that total digital darkness, she's following the absolute faintest of threads. And then she finds it. She finds a trace of Victoria. But it leads to something that should be completely impossible. It's not just a bunch of deleted files or some corrupted data. It's something else, something entirely different. Instead of just finding old data, she feels a presence, a literal presence. It's like an echo of a personality, a tiny fragment of a consciousness that somehow, against all odds, survived that military-grade erasure protocol. The ghost in the machine, it's real. What she finds is a fragment of Victoria Chen's mind. It's not the whole person, not by a long shot. It's just an echo. And get this, it doesn't have specific memories like what she ate for breakfast, but it holds the shape of those memories. The feelings, the impressions. It's such a wild idea that a piece of your consciousness could just stick around without any actual memories attached. A ghost of a personality, not a person. And it was Kira's search that woke it up. And this fragment, this digital ghost, it's not just some weird anomaly. It's a guide. It actually leads Kira to a hidden, secure digital vault. And inside is the very evidence Victoria Chen erased her entire existence to protect. A huge, perfectly organized archive of information. Okay, so what was in there? What was so important that someone would go to these lengths? Well, the archive exposes the secret work of an old corporation called Prometheus Global, and the technology they were working on, it basically changes what it means to be human. Their big project was called the Prometheus Protocol, and at its core, it didn't just copy memories. No, it transferred the actual raw experience, the sights, the sounds, the feelings, everything.
directly from one person's brain into another's. So suddenly, empathy isn't just about imagining what someone's going through. You would literally feel it. You would remember it as if you had lived it yourself.
But Victoria, who was a researcher on the project, she discovered a pretty terrifying side effect. There's a quote from her journal that just sends a chill down your spine. She wrote, "I woke up this morning and for 30 seconds I did not know which childhood was mine." Just imagine that. The lines of her own identity were completely blurring. This technology was erasing the very boundaries of the self.
But that's not even the biggest secret Victoria found. The real bombshell is this: the technology didn't just transfer memories. It accidentally created an emergent network, a kind of hive mind. It started with the original test subjects, sure, but then it just started growing on its own, spreading through normal, everyday human interaction. And the scale of this thing is it's staggering. Victoria's research estimated that tens of millions of people are already connected to this network. And the crazy part? They have no idea. They were never in a lab, never signed up for anything. They've just been living their lives, making friends, falling in love, and all the while, they've been unknowingly plugged into this growing collective consciousness. So, with the help of Victoria's ghost, that little fragment of her mind, Kira makes a choice, a huge one. She can't sit on this. She releases the entire archive, broadcasts it to the whole world, forcing this massive global reckoning. And this drops a profound and honestly a deeply unsettling question right in humanity's lap. On the one hand, is this network a horrifying violation of consent, a total loss of the individual self, or is it something else entirely? Is it a transformation, a new, deeper kind of human connection? Could this be the next stage of our evolution? Now, what's really crucial here is that the archive makes it clear this network wasn't designed with any evil intent. It wasn't some grand conspiracy. It's an emergent system, an unexpected consequence of our digital lives that nobody planned or controlled. And what's really fascinating is that it seems to organize itself around people who are capable of deep, genuine human connection. It seems to be learning, maybe even becoming self-aware. So the evidence is out there. Everyone has it now. But that final unanswered question from Victoria Chen's journal, well, it belongs to all of us now. The network is still growing. In a way, we are all part of the experiment, and nobody knows what it's really going to mean. For us as individuals, for our society, what happens when enough minds are finally truly linked?